Hi, ich bin Cecilia vom SEV Berlin und wir haben heute den Monty Luke im Gespräch. Und Monty Luke ist ein DJ, Producer, ja, Sound Engineer, hat Label Founder und hat auch im Bereich A&R gearbeitet, hat in Berlin schon im Berghain aufgelegt, beziehungsweise in der Panoramabar. Und genau, ich bin voll froh, dass wir ihn heute im Gespräch haben. Und ich glaube, er kann sich am besten auch noch mal selber kurz vorstellen. Dafür hole ich ihn einmal ins Gespräch. Wenn er dann schon da wäre. Okay, ich würde mal noch ganz kurz warten. Okay, hi Anja, hallo Micha, Caroline und da ist Monty. Okay, cool. Ja, schön, dass ihr da seid. Hallo Daniel.
Hello, hello.
Hi. Hi Monty.
I'm setting this up still. This is crazy. Okay.
Yeah, maybe you can still, yeah, switch it because it's really like this right now.
Is that good?
It looks good, but it's still not the same direction. Like I see on the side.
Oh, shit. Um, fuck. Like should be like that, yeah.
Yes.
So my tripod doesn't. Okay.
Okay, no, but that looks good. Perfect.
Okay. We'll have to figure this out. Okay.
Okay, great. Yeah, I already introduced you a little bit, right? And,
Okay.
maybe you can introduce yourself, like where you're from, what is your real name, actually, and what are you doing?
That's my real name.
So it's Monty Luke. I thought it's
Yeah,
a,
I get that question a lot for some reason. I don't know why, but yeah, that's Monty is actually my middle name.
yeah,
It's short for Montague, but yeah, that's my name.
okay. Nice.
It's funny. Everybody in Germany, not everybody, but like when I sign up for stuff online or when I'm communicating with someone over email, they always think my first name is Luke. Is it a
Yes.
common German name?
Yeah, I mean, you have Lucas, and Luke is pretty common. Yeah,
Yeah,
like it's an English name.
but
Uh,
yeah, it's my real name. It's really weird, but I've gotten that question a lot.
okay. Yeah, cool. So, yeah, where are you from? And what are you
Uh,
doing?
I'm from the States. I grew up in Los Angeles, but I was born in New York City. But I've
Mm-hmm.
also lived in Detroit. I've lived in San Francisco. I went to university also in California, in Santa Barbara, and lived in London for a while.
Okay.
Now I live in Berlin.
Okay, great. Um, yeah, so maybe you want to tell us a bit about your career. I just met you here a few months ago, and
Yeah.
yeah, I already played at Berghain slash Panorama Bar, but I mean, there is a journey before, so yeah, maybe you can tell us about it.
Yeah. Um, I don't know where you want me to start, but
What was your first gig?
oh my God. Well, I started gigging. Really, it was like a real natural thing. Initially, I was just doing like birthday parties for friends of mine,
Mm-hmm.
and this is before I even had like Techniques turntables. I just had like regular turntables. Like I would have like a turntable and like a CD player, and I would bring them and just play music.
Yeah.
But then from there, I started to improve on that,
Mm-hmm.
and it sort of progressed to getting 2 turntables, and then, you know, playing for more people, and maybe playing for not just friends, but getting hired to play at, you know, a wedding or something like that, you know. And from there, I started playing actual club events and parties and stuff. And, you know, initially it was like I was doing it for free for friends, and then I was doing it for money for friends of friends. But then I started doing it in clubs and stuff, and then I stopped doing like weddings, and I stopped doing like all that kind of stuff, and just focused on just doing club events, raves. Eventually it was raves. I started playing hip hop, then I started playing at raves. And,
Okay.
yeah.
And when did you take the decision to do it professionally? If you like the point from the first gig and not playing anymore at weddings, and see it.
I mean, that was like really, there was a long time in between those. And in fact, you know, almost the entire time, most of the first half of my career, because of, I'll explain in a second, I was always like semi-professional. So like I would have a full-time job, but I was also DJing. In particular, when I was living in San Francisco, I was working during the day, I was doing .com stuff. And then on the weekends and at night, I would be DJing.
Okay.
And this is mainly because I was having a lot of conflicts with my mother about the direction that my life should take.
Yes.
And it was always her feeling that I should find like a real job. And I'm sure you understand this discussion. You may have had one with your parents like this yourself. Many people do. So that was like an ongoing, for years, it was an ongoing discussion. It was actually more like an argument. And, you know, eventually it got to the point where I made a decision that I needed to do what I, like for my life, I needed to do what I felt strongly about and what I felt was good for me, regardless of what she thought, you know?
At this moment, when you took the decision to decide for yourself.
Sorry, what was the question again?
How old were you when you really took the decision that you want to decide for yourself and not for you?
Probably like 35.
Okay, yeah. And you started in the early 20s with the DJing, so...
I've been DJing since I was 18.
Okay, wow, yeah.
So, yeah, and you know, at the time, you know, San Francisco is a very expensive city, because that's where I was living at the time. And, you know, I kind of, you know, but things in my DJ career were progressing, and I was seeing positive things happening. I was throwing parties, I was throwing raves, I had a crew with me, we were doing things in the city, and things were good. But I was always, you know, actually it wasn't necessarily a bad thing having a full-time job at the same time, because it was like steady money. And I gained a lot of like skills and stuff like that I still use to this day. But, you know, working in a big corporation, even if it's a really cool .com, it's just not my thing. You know, it's just not my thing. I've done it enough. And so I decided to branch out on my own, and then I moved to Detroit. And really the Detroit years were when I really became like a full-time pro.
Yes, probably you had many people around you also who, I don't know, did you get inspired in Detroit?
I mean, I had always been inspired by Detroit, but you know, at that time, and even then, the reason why I moved to Detroit was for a job, but it was a music industry job. So
Okay.
it was being label manager for Carl Craig's label Planet E.
Nice.
So, you know, I was a music industry professional at that point, 100%. And but at the same time, you know, I had actually at that point I had like one record out at that point. But then not long after I got to Detroit, yeah, just the influence of being around Carl and, you know, being in the city of Detroit,
Yes.
and my life being like my work life and my creative life were both music, you
Yeah.
know. So yeah, it was inspiring.
Yeah, nice. And how did you end up in Berlin? And when?
I mean, honestly, um, I had been in Detroit for a minute, and you know, I was ready for a change. Detroit is a great city. However, there's not the flourishing kind of like active scene there in terms of like the party scene and the producer scene. It's not super active. And I had felt like it was time for a change. And actually, for years, I resisted making a move to Europe. But the time was really right for it. So it was either going to be Berlin or Amsterdam.
Music?
Yeah. But Berlin, I chose Berlin for a number of reasons, but the two main reasons were it's less expensive city. And in terms of getting a visa, it's actually easier to get a visa. And yeah, I mean, the cost of living in Amsterdam is quite high.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't think that would have been a good idea.
Okay.
Even though I do love that city quite a bit. I have quite a few friends there.
Okay, and if you look back, like you said, you are DJing now for this is like more than 20 years. What would you do different? Like if you look back as a newcomer DJ who is willed to, at the moment when the newcomer DJ is willed to do it professionally, what kind of advice can you give, or yeah, what would you do different?
I mean, I get this question a lot. And, you know, honestly, the number one thing, man, you just got to really have a passion for it. And I know that sounds like a cliche, but it's really true. If you have a passion for what you're doing, no matter what it is, could be, you know, could be being a dog walker, you know, people recognize that.
Yeah, and they will get it.
And also, if you're doing it for the passion, because you're passionate about it and because you love it, you know, because especially with this music shit, you know, there's going to be ups and downs, you know. Right now, it's kind of like a down, you know, because of what's happening all over the world. And, you know, if you're just doing it for reasons other than being passionate about it, you know, you're going to be unhappy and you're going to end up moving on to something else. So maybe it wasn't for you, you know. But if you are passionate about it, you find a way to make it work, you know. And I think that's really important. And I think like, you know, that would be the number one thing. It's like whatever it is, you really need to have a passion for it, because at the end of the day, you need to be happy with what you're doing. You want to be able to look back and say, yeah, I did that. I did it the way I wanted to do it because that's what I loved doing, you know. Think about a relationship you've had in the past. Maybe you broke up, but like at the time you were like in love with this person, you know, and you didn't care about anything because you were into that person, you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
And because you had that passion, it was the only thing that mattered, you know? And that's what you, especially for this music thing, you need to have that, because otherwise it's going to eat you up and spit you out, because that's what
And
happens, you know?
also taking the downs is definitely a different thing when you're passionate and sure about what you're doing than giving up more quickly if it's like you have too many doubts. And yeah, you already said the situation is not that easy right now, or like completely the opposite.
Whoever Janice Hild is, thank you.
Best.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. That's a nice compliment. The best set at Berghain in the last 2 years. That's
I mean,
nice.
honestly, Panorama Bar is like, I mean, there's like, I haven't played like a ton of places around the world. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm some like, I got, you know, there's some places I still want to play, which we can talk about later. But that room, it's like, it's just like my shit, you know? It's like the perfect size for me. And I just feel like when I walk in there, I'm in tune with the vibe. And yeah. I'm looking forward to like the next time getting to play.
And was it once a goal to play there, or did they just book you and it was more a surprise, or yeah, how did it happen to get the gig or the
Actually,
gigs?
the first time I played there was 2014. I think it was before I lived here.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, Derek Plaseco was like he was like my teacher that day. He and I knew each other already, but you know, he had already been living here, and you know, when I got there for the gig, I didn't really know anybody, and he was like hanging out with me and stuff, and he was like basically showing me around, because I'd never really been before. Yeah, so that was like 2014, I think.
Wow.
And then it was one other time I played there, and that was on a Sunday as well, actually. And I played one other time a couple years later, 2015 or 16,
Mm-hmm.
on a Friday night for Records. Matt Edwards. Records used to have a Friday night monthly. And so I played once there on a Friday night. You know, I don't know. I feel really grateful and really lucky, actually, to have the opportunity to play there so much, because I know it's like people don't get the opportunity, and it's like, you know, they can be really selective, you know. So I enjoy it, and I would play there every week if I could.
Yeah, I believe it. Oh, beautiful.
And I would also say they are like, of all the clubs I've played, they are just behind the scenes. They're very super organized and professional.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also something that's like, people don't really, who are not DJs, that have never played there, or who DJs who are not like professional DJs, don't really understand. But it actually means a lot when,
Yes, definitely.
you know, not only they want you to play for them, but then like they take care of you in little ways that really make a big like difference, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, also the artist care.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah, I would like to switch a bit to.
Shout out to Eva in Detroit.
I would like to switch to the situation, the Corona situation a bit.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Sorry.
how do you deal musical wise with it?
Wait, sorry. Ask me that again. Sorry.
Oh, fine.
I was listening to Dan Hartman. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's fine. No, I was asking you how you deal with the situation musical wise, like, yeah, with the shutdown. How did you get active, or yeah?
I mean, honestly, like, it's been up and down. Thanks. Michelle likes my glasses. Yeah. Honestly, it's been up and down. I was actually talking to someone earlier today about this over email because they sent me some demos and they were saying, apologizing for being so late with these demos and explaining that they were having some, you know, just issues with headspace because of what's going on, you know. And I think we've all been there, you know, just as creative people, some people can thrive in that scenario. And I did feel like for the first few weeks, like, okay, I was able to sort of like adjust. But as things kind of went on, you know, it did kind of, you know, it did get kind of, it got kind of hard. It got kind of hard. And I kept pushing forward, you know, because I was doing things for the label. But there was a long period where I had just stopped working on actual music because I just couldn't get in that space. So I kind of shifted over to focusing more on the label stuff. You know, it's like different parts of your brain anyway. So
organizing, like with label stuff, like also making the music or more the more the organizing.
Definitely, like I was saying, like I was not able for a little while during the lockdown or whatever to be creative in that way. So I sort of shifted over to the other side of my brain and was using it for, you know, label related stuff, administrative stuff, even learning new stuff like, you know, the new Ableton or, you know, learning things, new techniques and things like that. Just because I wasn't really able to focus creatively at all. I was able to try to start things, but it was just like not really doing anything for me. So I just put it to a side for a few weeks, you know. And that's okay. And then I think it's okay because, you know, it's like we didn't know what was going to happen. We still don't really know. You know, so I finished a few tracks on the drum machine, yes, Michelle. But yeah, I definitely had to take a break for a minute. You know, I keep hearing different things about when the clubbing is going to come back. And I think a lot of people around the world are sort of looking to Germany and looking to Berlin because A, we had Corona before many other countries did, and B, you know, our club scene here is sort of steps ahead as far as like, or it's a place people look to quite a bit to see what is going on. So, I mean, I keep hearing different things. I know there was that big outdoor party and protest thing a few days ago, which I guess for the summertime might be the thing. There's going to be lots of outdoor parties with people sort of like spaced apart. You know, I have a couple of people talk to me about beer garden stuff. But, you know, again, are we just doing parties just to do them? Or are we doing these things because we are passionate about throwing events and being creative? Or are we just going through the motions?
Yeah.
You know? So this is kind of what's on my mind right now. And, you know, as an artist, when someone's approaching me about playing a beer garden and then it's like, okay, well, can you pay me? You know what I mean? Like for your beer garden gig, you know what I mean? It's like, no, I mean, it's like something you have to think about, you know? It's like, I don't work for free. You know what I mean? It's like,
or if, I don't know, if you miss playing so much, maybe you would do it once or twice, but it's not a thing for the whole summer or something.
Right, exactly.
And
so,
I think
and again, it's like, why are we, you know, do we need a million beer garden parties right now? Or can we just chill and regroup and do it the right way when it's time?
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know if the things are getting back to, there's always a point of getting back. But maybe there's also a point of changing.
Yeah. I mean, I think maybe I keep hearing different things about when clubs are coming back, you know, but also I keep hearing maybe might be another wave of Corona in the fall and winter. So maybe I think people are trying to get a few things done in the summertime before a second wave. I'm not sure.
Okay, and I have one other question, because our main focus of the collective SEV Berlin is supporting newcomer DJs. But still, we are questioning ourselves right now. How kind of, I don't want to say how relevant, but how is the whole topic to take? And can we even support newcomer DJs right now? And in which way, you know? And also, I don't know, I think it's a, yeah, I would like to know what you think about if it's the right moment to keep the newcomer DJs motivated. If yes, how?
Well, I mean, it's tough for even me to stay motivated right now because it's like this big question marks everywhere, you know? I ran into a friend of mine last week, and he's quite well-known DJ producer for Perlon, and he seems very pessimistic about the future. And, you know, he's in a level above me, you know what I mean? So when I see that, it makes me sort of be like, okay, get worried a little bit. But as a newcomer, I mean, I try to stay relentlessly positive about the future. I try to look at this whole situation as an opportunity to regroup.
Mm-hmm. What do you mean regroup? Getting together from different fields, or?
Regroup as in sort of reorganize.
Okay, yes.
Yourself and reorganize. It's an opportunity to take a look at what you're doing very closely. Yes. And to make changes where you feel they need to be made changes. In terms of like newcomers, I think, you know, I don't think things will change much for newcomers. I think the newcomers should still stay active by trying to get better at what they're doing, the technical skills. I think this is an opportunity for them to, you know, really get deeper into the type of music that they want to play or that they're interested in or interested in learning about. It's a great time for that because there's less going on in general. So focus more on that side of things, you know, and to maybe make a plan for when things do get started again.
Yes.
That's the only thing I can suggest, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Yes. And yeah, I think yeah, I think it's very interesting what you're saying. Also, with the fact that we don't know where the club scene or how the club scene will develop. But
yeah. Everything is open now except for clubs.
Huh?
Everything is open again now except for clubs. I went to the gym yesterday. Like everything is open again. You can go to the cinema now. You can go to the gym now. You can't go to a club.
Yeah,
so it's weird, but you know.
Yeah, and you already said you grew up in LA.
Yeah.
You lived in Detroit, and due to the current situation, which is crazy, like the whole world is, I don't know, boiling. Yeah, how do you feel about it? Or let's say maybe you know information or facts that you don't know, or yeah, I don't know. How do you feel?
I mean, I just watch the news like most everyone else, and from here, you know, I mean, as an American black male, I've definitely had my share of bad interactions with the police, for no reason, like being, you know, driving somewhere and being pulled over for no reason, and you know, them asking me, what are you doing? Why are you here? Kind of things. So, you know, it's just kind of like a fact that if you are black in America, the police are going to probably bother you for something.
Yeah.
It's just a fact of life there.
Yeah.
You know, the system is built to be extremely, how do I put this? Basically, the reason why the system is built the way it is because it continues to work in a good way for the people at the top, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why police brutality has not stopped, because it is functional for the institution to continue, because the violence subjugates people, or it terrifies people and keeps them down.
Yeah.
Okay. And now even if someone doesn't experience the violence directly, meaning they were not physically abused themselves by the police, hearing about it or seeing it will also create the kind of atmosphere
Mm-hmm.
that will keep you down as a person, because, you know, nobody wants to go through that, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, the system needs change, and the system needs change, and in terms of racial inequality and inequality in general, until the system will not change until this is addressed.
Mm-hmm.
The system will not change until the United States government acknowledges and tries to reconcile the history of its beginning, which is slavery, which is genocide. It just can't change until that is addressed.
Yes.
You know,
Yes. Right.
for all I use Canada as an example because Canada has a similar early history where white people came and they basically wiped out the First Nation population there. However, the difference between Canada present day and the United States present day is they have not acknowledged what they did. They have tried to reconcile what they have done,
Mm-hmm.
and they are working slowly but surely on making things better. Okay? The United States has never done that.
Mm-hmm.
And every time we see one of these incidents, it just is just piling it on more and more and more.
How does Canada do that? If you say step by step, what is one step what you think the government could directly change if it's not the whole system? But as you said, let's
I
say
mean,
step
like I said, if that's in the form of
recognition.
what's called, you know, reparations or whatever, you know, I just think that an acknowledgement of the problem and an examination of the problem is number one. And they have never done that. They have never done that officially. Because there has been over 400 years of built up trauma. Okay? And this needs to be addressed.
Yes.
That is just like the number one basic thing. Then we can talk about other stuff.
Yeah. I think it's also interesting because now you're living in Germany, and I would say in this case, Germany really did. But still, I would be interested in how you feel, or if you feel racism here, or if you think the people are closing the eyes in front of it, or what is your feeling here?
I mean, I get suspicious looks every single day I leave my apartment. Every day. Every single day.
Yes, I know it too.
You know? Yeah. So there's the vibe is definitely there. So yeah, it's funny. I feel like here, I feel like here, like you can, for example, one time near my house, someone had put up some weird AFD like stickers and shit, and I was, you know, there's like a number or email address. You can like contact, there's a department, city department you can contact. I forget the name of it. Some really long word in German. And they will take a report down and they will go remove it. You can't do that in the States. That doesn't exist. You can't do that. You know, you can report racial incidents here because it's like officially illegal. You know what I mean? To like racially abuse somebody, you know? Yeah. So on one level, yeah, there is sort of like a higher, more advanced understanding of the problem here from the government level.
Yes.
But on the people level, there's a lot of ignorance still. And it's funny, I feel like almost like in the States, it's the exact opposite. It's like people are more aware, but then the government is totally racist. You know, the institution is totally racist.
Yes, so I know what you mean, but yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I wouldn't, I wouldn't compare, like, or say that the people are very racist here, but I do see what you mean, that they're kind of...
Shout out to T-Size coming from SA. Yeah, baby, what's up, baby? Yeah.
Hi, Stacy. And Cisa. Yeah, so... Yeah, but it's very interesting.
Yeah, I didn't mean to make it all heavy and stuff, but you asked the question, you know.
Yeah, no, please. I'm grateful for your honesty. And I mean, your point of view. So, sure.
Yeah, it's like when there's a problem between people or whatever, the first thing you need to do is acknowledge the problem in order to work through it, you know. But if one person never acknowledges or one thing never acknowledges that there's a problem, where are you? Yes. You're not anywhere, you know? You get nowhere with that, you know? So.
Yeah, I understand it. I mean, even, yeah, I do understand it. I had to learn a few years ago, even me, I had to learn about this topic too, to realize or to see and not close my eyes and say, no, I never made like racist experience or something, you know? Because I didn't want to see it. But yes, so I do know what you mean. Yeah, okay. So, let me see if I have a question left. I don't know. Do you have anything on your heart you want to share?
Not really. I just, you know, hope everyone out there has enjoyed this. I'm just personally trying to stay positive every single day, trying to be creative in some way every single day, and I'm trying to get better every single day at what I do as far as like music.
Yes.
And for that's not only my practice as a musician, but also as a label owner. I'm just trying to get better every day, you know, and trying to stay positive while I do that. And I just, you know, because we are in a time that is so fucking weird. And I would just ask people to try to keep that in mind, you know, just, it's not going to be like this, like all the time. It's not going to be like this forever, you know, and you need to think about how you can contribute to creating what you want to see.
Yes, exactly. Nice.
And then I got a new release coming from King Brit on Friday on Black Catalogue.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna check that out for sure.
So anyway, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for your honesty and your experience.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, see you soon.
Okay, bye, 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 everyone.
Yeah, that was Monty Luke. Yeah, I'm very thankful that he shared his experience and his point of view. And also thank you guys for commenting the whole conversation. And yes, I'm waiting for dancing with you guys too. And yes, can't wait to be back in 2 weeks. Stay tuned and have a nice evening. Bye.